Okay, now we got all pots boiling. This one's got the most boil going on. These ones don't ever boil as much because of the heat source isn't. There's not as much heat there, but they still do boil. So what we can do now is I set my timer for a full 60 minutes. Well, it's actually about 57 right now. But anyway, now I'm going to add in the Irish moss and the hops. As you can see, I've got a little bit of stuff going on the stove there because, dumping in the wort spills a little bit. Now, it says on there 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon per 5 gallons. Well, we measured out here that about half this is actually what we need. Normally, I might take a spoon or something, but since myself and Rick already figured out how much is in here, I don't think it's really going to be that necessary. So, what I'm going to do here is, and again, these are the finings. Let's get some of that in there. That's pretty decent. Okay, so I'm going to dump some of this in here. Put a little bit more in there. That's about half of it, which is fine. This doesn't have to be exact. I mean, this is like hops where you want as close as can be. That's actually a bit more than half. Put some in here, okay, and then put the rest in there. Just sprinkle it on. So yeah, I used just a little bit more half. That's okay. Stir that up just a little bit there. Irish moss, the package says 30 to 45 minutes to boil. I always do it in an hour. So that's going on now. The hops, we're going to be adding in Amarillo hops. These are 9% alpha acids, 8.5, well, about 9% alpha acids. And so these are going in for the full 60 minutes. Now, normally the one thing I stress is using a scale. I do have a scale, this particular digital one right here. Picked up Harbor Freight, but since I already know how much is in here, this is a full 2 ounces, and I measured this one. There's 3/4 of an ounce in it. I actually wanted about a total of 3 ounces. Didn't quite have that much. 2 3/4 is fine. So that's going to be a little over 1 ounce, about 1 1/4 ounces per. So it's going to give it a decent amount of bittering. So let's go ahead and start dumping these in. Put that over here. So I got this one. Now I'm going to do this by eye because I'm using the whole amount of it. I really can't see the point of measuring this part of it. So go ahead and put some in here. Now again, I recommend for new brewers measure it, but I'm pretty comfortable with my measuring skills. So there's some right there. I'm just taking out handfuls of it. Okay. You do want to be careful with how much you put in because it can really get excessive on these ones here. But I'm putting in about the same amount of handfuls, so yeah, it might be just a fraction of an ounce off. It's not going to be enough to really make much of a difference. Okay, there's that handful. I can tell I've already got more handfuls left in here, so not even to the bottom yet of this thing. Okay, there's that. There's a little bit of dust left, so let's get that in here. Get some dust in there, and the rest of it in there, and that should be good. Now, even though this pot's bigger, it should have had a little bit more, but that's okay. I'm not real worried about that. And then this final part right here, just 3/4 of an ounce. Okay, so I'm going to this is pretty much dust in here. Put a little bit in there, a little bit in there, and a little bit in there. That's going to leave me hardly any, so put that little bit, and then the rest of it right in there. Now 3/4 of an ounce isn't going to do a whole heck of a lot. Okay, so now that I've got that done, that's my bittering hops for 60 minutes. I'm going to move them around here a little bit, stir them in. Last note to make about the bittering hops. The reason why you want to do at least 45 minutes, if not a full boil, is because during that time what's going to happen is the lupin glands, which contain the alpha acids, the oils in other words, they isomerize, they blend in and think of it just basically being eaten up. They're blending into the beer, making it better. So the longer you go, the more bitter it's going to be, which is why it's common to get 60 minutes of it. But you do need a full boil. Whether it's really not, it's one thing, but you do need a full boil to fully isomerize and break down those lupin glands, so you're going to get the oils to bitter your beer. It's very important. Whether you understand technical aspects of it or not, it's not important. Just knowing that you need to boil it that way for that amount of time is the most important part. Next we'll show you the flavoring hops when we get to that stage.